Hey Brickmaniacs, welcome back to another Socially Distanced Designer's Desk episode. Today we're taking a closer look at the Viper. Dan is the designer, so Dan, go ahead and take it away.
Well, we have two here. So
two is always better than one.
Yeah, we're getting ready to ship these out to the stores and various the destinations where they need to be at. These are display models. One of them is a prototype. In fact, I don't know which is which at this point.
They look identical.
Around. Yeah, so I have two. We'll just leave that one there. That's the one Lando's going to use to talk about minifigs. Let me put this guy back together here. So I just want to show off. I mean, just this is a design element that we had in the original Viper. And I don't know if we ever actually showed off the fact that it does fold up. The rotor does fold up. But actually, all four blades will fold up. But typically, you'll see them on ships and landing when they're in storage. I guess
Sure.
They'll be sitting in this configuration. But that is just so they make it narrower and it doesn't take up as much room. But
yeah, that makes sense.
I just wanted to show off to the fact that this actually does that. Try to do that with all of our rotor craft. Make sure that the blades.
And I can't think of any that don't that come to mind that we've at least had in like new.
No, it's become a standard feature of just about every Brickmania kit. In fact, the tail rotor does the same thing. It folds down as well. It's a little work,
but if you really want to compact this thing, you can.
Yeah, well, they can. Let's just say someday we build a giant transport aircraft or a ship that we want to put these in. We would have it folded up just the way it's supposed to. So there you go. You can fold up the tail rotor as well. It doesn't,
right.
bend like the bigger the Sikorsky aircraft, but that's just it's not that big of an aircraft because this is actually a descendant of the Vietnam era AH-1 Cobra gunship, which is a slimmed down version of the Huey slick,
sure.
The weaponless transport helicopters.
Well, and this thing certainly has a fearsome loadout on it too. I know that with the first go around with this model, we didn't have that cool minigun on the front either.
Oh, the front, yeah. This is 20mm cannon. Yeah, I had actually the original version. So we should do a little backstory that this kit is a descendant of many generations of Hueys that we'd been doing. And we started getting in talks with Bell about licensing, and they said, "Oh, you got to stop doing all the Hueys, all blah." So they had something else going on. So this was in stores. An earlier version of this was in stores for 6 months, and then we had to pull them off the shelf because of Bell's request. And of course, if you're talking to somebody about doing a license, you have to listen to them.
Right.
They ask you to do that. So we discontinued this after I think just like 1 or 2 batches. Took the opportunity to do some restocking, recalibrating improvements on this version. So like, hey, we get to do it again. So nothing like a do-over. And in the meantime, we developed some new capabilities at Brickmania and some new parts that actually come out. So one of the new developments was actually making this little minigun that's on here. So it's a 20mm rotary cannon. It's just the same concept as the minigun. But the typical minigun would have 6 barrels. This one has 3. That's all it needs. So I'll put that back on there.
Well, that's an excellent example too of exactly when Brickmania decides to use 3D printed elements in their kits, because it's not to usually make up any parts or anything, but it is something that just adds that little extra layer of detail. It
was in the last year that we kind of started doing this. We typically stay away from guns. I mean, that's sort of like Will and Brick Arms. That's his
Sure.
forte. And we don't really want to step on Will's toes. It's just not in our wheelhouse typically. But when he said he couldn't do a minigun, that the 3-barrel, have it open and do this way, we did the Vulcan cannon last year. Mm-hmm. And that was sort of the opening the door. So this is just a different version of that Vulcan cannon. This is actually 3-barrel, which would be typical to this helicopter. It's a 3-barrel 20mm cannon. The rest of the loadout, so in the original kit, the loadout was separate. You bought the helicopter, and then you bought the loadout.
Add-on pack?
Yep, it was an add-on pack. And this one we decided to put it all together, and the reason being is almost every person who bought the original kit bought the loadout. And I think we made one less loadout pack, and people were pretty upset that they couldn't get the missiles.
Sure.
So the loadouts were like, okay, from the next time we're going to do it, it's just going to include everything, no special packs. But you do have quite the loadout here. The loadout on this is pretty extensive. This has I'll just go through it here real fast. You do have these Sidewinder air-to-air missiles, which is kind of unique for an attack helicopter. That's not a normal thing you'd see on a gunship of any kind. Below them, you have each side has a 70mm hydro rocket, the big tubes, I guess.
Sure.
So these are the larger of the 2 different sizes of hydro rocket mounts. So we have those. And then the inboard mounts on each side are Hellfire missiles. You got 8 Hellfire missiles in total. So it's pretty well armed. Of course, you have the 20 millimeter cannon too.
Small helicopter packs big punch.
The whole idea. It's a twin engine helicopter. So that's what makes the Viper and even like the Super Cobras. They versus the Vietnam era had just a single engine. They doubled the engine capacity. This thing's super heavy duty horsepower wise. It can travel, on level flight about 200 miles an hour, which is pretty good. So
this thing cruises, yeah.
Yeah. And in a dive up to like 225. It's fast, and it's designed to, it's for air cover for, ships unloading, troops or hovercrafts, things like that, or just, if you're doing in a total like envelopment situation, you're going to have your gunships flying top cover. This is right now the state of the art of the kind of capabilities of all the different integrations of weapon systems, electronics, has countermeasures, it has targeting systems. The guys have actual heads-up displays inside their helmets.
Wow.
And they can turn their head and they can see at night, day or night, they can see wherever they're looking at, they can see. Sort of that glass cockpit sort of concept where you can look down even and see below you, you can look all the way around, and it'll show up on your display. On your head, they can even train the weapons using the heads-up display on their helmets. So they look to the left, the gun turns to the left. So the guy in the front here, he's your weapons operator. The guy in the back is your pilot. He or she, I should say. We do have printed tiles. We did print the displays. That's common with the last one. I don't know if you could actually see those printed pieces, but they both have the control panels. The previous edition had a lot more stickers on it. We've replaced the stickers with actual printed tiles. So the Marines on here, the chaff dispensers, the countermeasures dispensers, and these insignia, they're all printed now.
Oh, very cool.
Rather than stickers. This one doesn't have a sticker. Actually, neither of them have stickers on them. There are a couple of stickers that come with the kit. I don't know what. They're still not back from printing, apparently. But they do have stickers.
A little bit.
Yeah, there's still a couple stickers. The engine intake, and there's some numbers that you can put on these. So the numbers are optional, and we didn't want to necessarily make you stuck with one particular number, so we did stickers on those lately. And there is also this printed sensor package on the front. So that would be another printed tile. So you're seeing a lot of printed tiles. We had some more. There's still some more sensors in here that we could have taken off of other helicopters, other rotary aircraft we've done. Didn't want to get too carried away, so didn't go completely overboard with the printing. It's already a pretty packed kit.
No kidding.
It doesn't look like it, but that's over 700 pieces right there.
Wow.
So. It's dense. You pick it up, you feel like, there's something to it.
Yeah, we were swooshing it around on the sit rep when it was initially dropped, and it is a very, very sturdy model.
Yeah. It's it'd make a good self-defense weapon if you in an emergency.
Well, and I think part of the reason that maybe you can't tell about how many Lego pieces are in there is it's just very clean looking.
Yeah, it's all inside. It's solid. I mean, it's designed not to come apart. One of the things with the redesign is I actually was able to get these wings to tilt back. So as the aircraft flies, it's actually flying nose down.
Oh, sure.
So instead of the rockets pointing straight down into the ground, they actually, I don't know what the angle of degrees are, but the wings actually, the little winglets are actually aimed up a little bit. So
same with the minigun, it looks like.
Yeah, the minigun, because it's going to be tracking ahead of you. It could actually point down. I mean, there's actually a ball joint on here.
Sure.
You can move that any way you want. There's even some degree of left and right in there. But of course, you can just turn the whole turret. But it does rotate, does all the stuff it's supposed to do. The blades rotate. This one, oops, I squished it in when I was playing with it. So, but it does all the things it's supposed to do. Except fly.
Anything else you want to cover with the model?
No, it was a great time doing it. The minifigs, fully detailed minifigs. Landon will get into that. Landon will do that, and
Very cool. Well, then let's kick it over to Lando right now and hear a little bit more about the two minifigures that come with this helicopter.
Hey, yeah, moving on to the figs, we have two pilots in this kit. We got one out of the kit and one right here sitting in there. You can see him
safely tucked into his cockpit.
Safely tucked in. You got to build him in there. So we were trying to get him out a second ago to like show off both of them, but
it didn't go so well.
Dylan's like, no,
my fingers are too big for that, man.
Yeah,
can't do it.
Anyways, I got one out here. And I'm really liking these new Lego helmets. That's just a stock Lego helmet with that cool visor, but I think they did kind of a good job.
It completes the look.
Yeah, it's slick. And What else? What do we got? So starting up from the his survival vest, and then there's also around his neck. There is it's inflatable like life preserver that's attached to the survival vest. So yeah, I can like pull a cord and it just inflates huge. It actually inflates quite a bit. So then underneath that there is a vest with the webbing on it and with various assortments of gear. I think there's like an oxygen breathing mouthpiece in there that it'd be able to, you know, if you went down in the water, you have a few minutes of air perhaps.
Wow.
And then pistol holster with pistol and some various other pouches. In the past, you know, there'd be stuff like shark repellent in there, but I don't know if they still would have that.
That's pretty cool. Shark repellent.
I don't know what they'd be having. They would have in these pouches these days. So maybe snacks. I don't know. What would you put in your survival?
I don't know. Shark repellent sounded pretty good to me.
Good, yeah. So and he's wearing just a flight suit and then some, I guess probably leather boots or something, combat boots, for some fire resistance there. So. Yeah, we've had this figure in the past. It's coming back for this kit. Kind of a tried and true pattern. So we're going with it again. And that's the kit. That's the minifigures that comes with a kit.
Yeah, very, very cool. Both figures included with this kit. So that has been the Designer's Desk episode for the Viper. Make sure to leave us a comment. Let us know what you think of this kit. Otherwise, stay tuned for next time. And thanks for watching.